Welcome back to the podcast. Today is part 2 of how your reticular activating system, or your RAS, can help you declutter your life. This is a piggyback on episode 196. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Flora Sage, minimalism mentor, simplification coach, and 7-time author. And for over 27 years, I've been helping women like you align into a life or a business that you are wildly obsessed with by helping you declutter the 9 types of clutter keeping you from a life that you love. What are those 9 types of clutter? They are mental, spiritual, emotional, digital, financial, daily, body, process, and everybody say it with me, environmental clutter. My YouTube page is where I share my environmental decluttering tips. And here on the podcast, I share with you how to declutter the rest. Please subscribe or follow this feed so you get notified every single time an episode is released. Now, last week we spoke about what your reticular activating system is, aka it's the gatekeeper to your brain, and it helps to filter out information and sensory input so that essentially we don't go crazy, because we have so much information coming in all the time. It only shows us what we deem important, what we tell it is important. And this is one of the reasons why when you say, oh, I want to get a new black 4Runner, all of a sudden you start seeing black 4Runners everywhere. It's because it's filtered out all of that information before, because you didn't tell it was important to you. But now that you're in the market for a black 4Runner, all of a sudden now it's like, okay, so I'm going to show you all the black 4Runners that are around, and that's going to be reinforcing the decision that you are making. So last week's homework was to write out what you want more of and what you want less of in your life. And then you were to look at what you're looking at, be that sacred witness, be that observer, and paying attention to what you're paying attention to, and start to filter out consciously those things that you don't want more of. Like the gossipy friend that you can start to not hang out with as much, or that content creator on social media that just really gets you worked up, that you're just like, oh my goodness, every time I watch this person's content, I get stressed out. Unfollow, unsubscribe, and stop watching. And so today, we're going to put together some I am statements that will help to, again, and additionally, reinforce the things that you want more of. So, as I said last week, when I was like, okay, I need to get my shit together. I need to really work with what tools I'm given. And your reticular activating system is a tool that is working whether you believe it is or not. I mean, it's part of that brain that is scientifically proven does this thing. And so if you can reprogram it, why not work with that tool? And so that I was like, all right, let's test this out. Because I was kind of a skeptic. I'm like, okay. So again, the first thing that I did, I shared with you last week. The second thing that I did was I sat down and I wrote down everything that I imagined that I would think or I would do when I got what I wanted. So I sat down and I said, okay, now that I have super healthy relationships, what would that look like? What about perfect health? What about all my business goals? What about all my wealth aspirations and goals? What about when I achieve that level of impact for my company? What about when I achieve all of my service-based goals for my company? What would that version of myself do each day? What would I think? What would be true in my life? What would my internal narrative sound like? Who would I interact with? What social media would I consume? What books would I be reading? What podcasts would I be listening to? What videos would I be watching? What habits would I have in my life? What would I be eating? What would I be doing? Would I go to the gym? Would I be having a personal trainer? Like, what would that look like? And I wrote pages and pages of that version of myself, like what that version of myself would have in life and what that version of myself would know to be true. And the cool thing was a lot of what I wrote down was true. But also on the flip side, a lot of what I wrote down wasn't true yet. So once I finished writing that big list down, then what I did was I changed the statements or the things that I wrote. I changed them into I am statements, I have statements, or I always statements. Like I always have supportive friends. I always see synchronicities in my life. I have access to unlimited resources. I am resilient. I am curious. I am decisive. I am well respected. I am proud of myself. I am present in this moment. I am always experiencing synchronicities. I have access to unlimited resources in my life and in my business. I always have positive, forward-thinking clients. I am always supported. So these are some of the examples of some of the statements that I wrote down. From that day on, I've either written out the master pages that I have in my I am journal, or I listen to the statements with my earbuds or just kind of out loud if I'm home by myself. And I reinforce this daily, and often multiple times a day, I'll just hit play and just let it play. And when you do this, you are absolutely reinforcing these things in your reticular activating system. Now, years and years ago, I learned that if you want to learn a language, one of the easiest ways to learn it is to immerse yourself in it. That is exactly what we're doing here. We are immersing ourselves in the language of who you are becoming, but you're naming it and claiming it as if it has already happened. Now, those of you who follow me for a long time know that I'm a huge fan of Neville Goddard's work, and Neville Goddard has whole sections about the I am and how when you repeat these statements in the I am format, we truly are reprogramming our reticular activating system to understand that that is who we claim to be. And I mean, it's just like when you say, I am tired, your RAS is going to show you more things that are going to make you feel tired. If you say, I'm happy, it's going to show you more things that bring you happiness. That future version of yourself already exists and has the things that you want. And when you embody the energy of that wish fulfilled, of who you want to become, and start to reinforce it by what you're hearing, what you're writing, what you're saying, what you're paying attention to, who you're hanging out with, all of a sudden you start to close that gap. And this is one of the ways that will help you declutter your life, because if you're now no longer focusing on time wasters and you're focusing only on those things that you deem are now important, you have so much more time. If you were like, oh, I'm so tired, I don't have time to exercise, I don't have time, all of a sudden you're just like, oh, I'm tired, I'm too tired to exercise, I don't have time to exercise. But then if you delete all of that stuff from your brain, if you allow yourself to say, well, hang on, okay, in my age range, who can I follow, or who is out there on social media that is in my age, that has high energy, that is working out, that I can use as kind of a role model for me to follow, and seek those people out. I know I did this. Like several years ago, I was just tired of feeling sick and tired. And I was like, who's in their late 40s that is just killing it, just rocking it? They got a rocking body. They're doing all the things. They have all the energy. That's what I want. And so I started to follow people, and I started to watch what they were doing. I started to observe. And because I was paying attention to it, my reticular activating system is like, okay, so they're making these choices, these decisions. This is what they're reading. This is what they're eating. This is what they're doing. This is how they're lifting. This is all the activity that they're doing. And it started to become natural to really start to embody those things and bring those things into my life. And I mean, allowing yourself to really focus on and pay attention to what you're paying attention to can help clue you in as to how you are spending your day. I have several podcast episodes about spending versus investing your time. Again, that's daily clutter. When you invest your time, you are literally putting money in the bank in your future self for that compounding interest to start to accumulate. But when you're wasting your time, your future self is going to be like, dude, come on. Like, I'm waiting for you. I am waiting for you to step it up and meet me in the middle here. And that's what it's like when you are just consumed with things that you no longer want. You are literally putting a pause on that future version of your life that you know you want. And so by focusing on what you want more of and reinforcing that with these I am statements, what happens is you close that gap. You know, recently I found out that I lost 2% body fat and gained 2 pounds of muscle. And I'm like, hell yeah. And I literally said out loud, and the trainer was like, you're so funny. I said, oh my God, thank you, past self, for doing the work. Woo! And he was like, oh my God, you're so funny. But I was like, I'm so proud of myself. And that's one of my I am statements, is I am so proud of myself. And he just kind of looked at me and was like, oh, that's so sweet, but whatever. And I don't care how people look at me, because I am the embodiment of a confident woman who knows her purpose, and I know why I'm here and who the hell I am. And again, that's one of my I am statements. And the beautiful thing is, the more that you hear these I am statements and the more that you reinforce what you want, the easier it is for you to get the life that you want, the life that you truly are wildly obsessed with, and to easily get rid of those things that no longer serve you, that are not part of that version of you that is moving forward in a really healthy way. Now, I know a lot of you here in my audience say, oh my gosh, I feel like life is passing me by. I feel like I don't have energy, or I can't focus on things. That's why I am here to help you. I have opened up complimentary strategy sessions / clutter audit sessions. I want to help you identify where you're at now, where you want to be, and help you clear out and identify that messy middle that's getting in the way of you having that life that you truly are wildly obsessed with. So if you want one of these complimentary sessions, I have several of them open every single week. Click the link in the show notes, click the link in this video description, and book your session. And please give yourself permission to do this, because time is going to pass by anyway. Why not filter out those things that are making you feel drained and low energy and feeling like that life truly is passing you by, and start to harness the power of your scientifically proven reticular activating system and let it work in your favor. And this is the cool thing, is once you start to pay attention to the new things, which is actually quite easy, shifts happen every single day. And it's automatic, because again, your brain is trying to keep you safe, and it's giving you those things that you are giving it attention to. It's giving you more of that. And this is what I want to help you do in your life or your business. So click the link, book your complimentary session. Let's talk. I'm so excited. Let's also continue this conversation. If you're watching this on YouTube, I invite you to share your experiences with doing this work that we talked about over the last couple of weeks about reprogramming your reticular activating system and how it can help you to declutter your life. If you found today's video helpful, please subscribe, share with your friends, and leave a review. Your support helps this podcast reach more people looking to declutter their lives and align into a life that they are wildly obsessed with. I hope this serves you today, and I will see you in the next episode. Mwah!